Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 74th episode of the HSBG Podcast. I'm your host, Educatedcollins. I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. Shady, how you doing?
I'm all right, Collins. I'm all right.
That's fair.
How are you? Yeah.
I am okay. I don't know. I'm okay, I guess. It's fine.
We're both here. All
Yeah, we're both here. It's one of those weeks where we're both here.
right.
Also, gotta say, I have said this intro so often that it's like autopilot now, which is kind of weird to me. That I've created an autopilot system for this. Like, it just takes like 74 tries or whatever, and now it's like, yeah, it rolls off the tongue. I don't even have to try anymore. But
That's good. I like that.
is it good? I don't know if it's good. Like, I need to spice it up, add a little bit more variety. I was doing that. I've been doing that recently. Trying to change up a little bit. But the format is still the same, and it's still like very like, oh yeah.
What if the listeners just like it and they don't like change, Collins?
Well, they haven't said anything about that, so how am I supposed to know?
Let us know, guys. If you like the intro, let us know. Speak out. Put a comment on YouTube or send an email. There you go. All right.
Sure. Anyways, we have no topics for you today. Absolutely dry podcast, but let's get no. I'm kidding. We have some things to talk about just a little bit. I mean, first of all, we do have our weekly overview. I guess we can talk about that. I don't know. I don't have anything good to say. I've been trying to climb and failing horribly. That's been my week. So not the greatest. I still, not in love with this patch. Week in, I still lose. Basically, that's what that means. So
This is probably the most polarized we've ever been in our experience of a patch. Because I'm the polar opposite. I kind of love it more every day. Like I'm just at a point where I'm like, God, I hope they don't patch anytime soon because I'm really feeling this one.
I'm
So,
ready for them to change it. Get out of
yeah.
quests. Go back to our.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, like, I feel like right now the game for most people is in a state where they wouldn't want to shake it up too much, right? So I don't feel like they're gonna wrap it up with quests anytime soon.
I agree, which is annoying. Like, apart from my experience, I think it's okay, right? But the thing is, I can't really detach my experience from it.
Yeah, you experience it through you, right? You don't experience it through other people. Well, I mean, it does feel like you might want to kind of like set aside like, okay, this is how I like to play the game, and I'm gonna like put that in a box and open that box again next meta.
I don't want to. But I like my box. It's a nice
You
box.
like to keep it out of the box, right? Yeah. I hear you. I hear you. That's sort of the headstrong thing. We're like, no, the meta is wrong. I don't want to change my play, and then it's
No, but I understand that on some level. I just don't like it. It's like,
yeah. Of course, it's just at some point you gotta like make a choice, right? Like, do you just want to like go shoot for the moon and like get punished, or do you want to be like, all right, I guess I'll play some stupid tempo thing?
I mean, over time, I will like naturally, slowly like become, if I am climbing, like I could just like be rigid and like not climb, right? Which is what I'm doing right now. But hopefully I learn. Hopefully after some repeated like bashes in the head, I learn and I start adapting a more efficient strategy for climbing. But for now, it's not the funnest for me. So, how about you, Shady?
Well, I have not been climbing on my EU account just because I've not really been well this week.
Right.
It's a bit unfortunate because we do only have a week left.
Yeah.
So it would have been nice if I'd made this progress on EU, but I played on NA just kind of chill, just jamming games, and NA is up to 10.5 now, a little over.
You're
So
basically next to me, which is so sad.
yeah, man. I really wanted to just do like tons of co-ops with you, but it's like I said before the podcast, the situation wasn't great here in terms of availability. So
yeah, fair enough.
it's because this is one I have. It does feel like. Let me actually see what rank that is. So kind of as a side project, I'm rank 65 in NA right now, which in the first month, like how many? We're 23 days in, maybe like 24, right? Because so in 24 days, front page EU and then rank 65, and that's like really good, like because it's really tough in the first month to compete on both servers. But I just fear that while I have a good standing on an A, like my last week on EU is not going to be good, and then I'm just not going to make it on either server. But so what? I mean, I'm really enjoying it, and I feel comfortable. So I'll do my best, essentially, next week, and hope I feel better and feel good enough to push those high ranks on EU.
Fair enough. It's I don't know. I don't have a lot of good things. I've been struggling. That's all there is to it for me. But apart from that, the interesting thing is that there is Lobby Legends, and that it is today. It's today.
Yeah.
In like a couple hours.
The 23rd, for anyone listening.
Is today the 23rd?
Today is the 20th. Well, yeah, today's the 23rd.
Okay. 24th for some people, apparently.
Not well, yeah, I suppose it's 5. Yeah.
Dude, so. Every time I just say that, and it's always true.
Some people,
I wake up and I'm like, it's the 24th for some people. I mean, it might not be, but it probably is. Anyways, but it is today, so there is going to be a tournament. I'm not streaming after this because I don't want to. I haven't really been streaming anyways. I've been trying to climb like off stream. It's not been working out that well, honestly. It's been like maybe no difference, but I'd like to believe there's a difference. But I am in it. I'm going to be playing. I feel like an imposter. I'm going to be honest. I don't feel like I'm supposed to be here. This meta has not been like my best meta or anything. It is weird because there have been some metas where I felt confident and I don't make it in, right? So it's just kind of the luck of the dice that this is the one I make it in. The one where I don't feel like I know what I'm doing in particular. So we'll just have to see. I'm not really going in with any expectations. We're just gonna try to play our games and see how they turn out, I guess.
It's God, I really have like two feelings about this. Like on one hand, that we really want to say like, no, really, please don't feel like an imposter, right? Like I said, like you said, you've been here so many times and then you didn't make it in, so like you deserve to be here. But on the other hand, like I really, really feel you where you're like, well, this is the one where I don't feel confident.
Yeah, right? So like the other ones, I'm like, oh, I'm here. I let me win. This one, I'm like, good luck, everyone else.
Yeah. So I do. Yeah, I understand that that feeling of like, I feel like I shouldn't be here, but regardless, right? It's still 3 games, and then
are we playing 3 games for the? Is it still 3 for the finals?
Well, you play 3, and then it's the
top 3,
20,
top 4,
20
right?
or 21 Czech format.
Yeah. I know the final, the Czech format.
Right.
So this one is still just 3 games. Okay.
Day 1 is still 3 games, man.
It's crazy. So, how is it still 3 games? Like you would think
works out in your favor, I would say, right?
Yeah, it does because it's like I only have to be good.
3 games. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Look at these suckers that came prepared. I rolled mirror shields with Murlocs in. Get out of here. Stolen gold.
That reminds me. Yesterday, I hit Golden Buddy.
I hit it. I still haven't seen it.
I hit Golden Buddy. and I didn't pick it.
I knew it. Take out the Pittsburgh stat. That's unacceptable.
But I think like 5 people picked it, to be fair, or something. Yeah.
Only dude, every single screenshot I've seen so far has been 8 out of 8. It's just like everybody jumps on it when they see it.
Oh, really? Someone picked I couldn't believe it. Someone picked Tiny Henchman.
Tiny
Henchman over it. I was just like, you should just take it. Just take the card. You know,
they looked at the requirement and they were just like, yeah, that's not. So was it Super Savage, a requirement? Like, what do you remember what you had to do?
No, it wasn't. It was like spend like 50 gold or something.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's an evil twin basically. Spend 50 gold.
It wasn't, it wasn't a lot. I just didn't have a good hero for it. Actually, that might not be true. I'm not gonna dig my grave.
What was the hero here, Collins? Come on, man.
I was Lich King.
Lich King. Yeah. I mean, that all depends, right? Are beasts in or not? Are mechs in or not? So.
No, there are no beasts.
All right. No beast makes it tougher, I'd say, because.
Yeah, but you could argue just like find a Leroy, like, and then hero power it. That's like you could argue that's like that's
true. Cool. Yeah. It's like it just gets a lot better when you have Reborn, right? And you can just
access to Reborn,
on the board, and then that's depends a bit on the lobby as well, of course. Okay, but yeah, understandable, right? I also have no hero selection where I think I would pick Lich King, so that I find interesting. Just because he's got that 0 armor and not like
everything was 0 armor, I think.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. One of those.
Yeah. See, I get like interested and I'd like to talk about like what the other options were, but like we don't have to get into it that much.
I know there was like a scam guy in there. And I was like, well, that's when I played it didn't work out that well, so I was like not feeling that one. And there was like some other. I think there was Kurtrus, maybe. I think I don't know.
Kurt's
I know you love him. I don't know if it was Kurtrus or the other one. Kel'Thas, one of the two.
Those are very different.
But they don't. They have armor. There was one with armor, and I think it was one of those two.
If it was Kurt, it'd be a slam dunk for me for sure.
What about KT or the other guy?
Kale. It would have to depend a little bit on the like.
I think it was Kale, not Kurt. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, they're the same hero to me. Which you're gonna be like, that's not true, but
no, it's not even close. Just like think about this, right? With Kurt, if you buff the whole shop and you do like Anima Bribe, it's already sick.
Does like Kurt buff the shop too?
Yeah. The last stage of Kurt buffs the shop. It's like that's already really good. And Kurt is strong, and his own hero power incentivizes him to remain strong. Because what are you doing in the mid game to proc your quests, your actual quest? Stuff. You're buying stuff. Yeah. What does Kurt want to do? Kurt's buying stuff, right? Spending gold. So when you're in a meta where you don't have to get 5s or 6s to be strong,
like a hero, write this down.
Yeah, write that down. Oh god. But yeah, anyways, the little side note on Kurt, and he's doing well in the stats. I think he's like rank 4 in high MMR right now, so it's very solid. And that's a lot of people. Well, he's only got a 25% pick rate, which I think is criminal. But there's probably some people.
I'm the one avoiding him.
You're the problem here.
I'm the problem.
Oh god. All right. But yeah, we kind of like took a detour here. Lobby Legends. Unfortunately, I'll be asleep when it happens. It's 1 a.m. my time.
I thought you wanted to start early so you could sleep and then wake up for Lobby Legends.
I mean, a part of me actually wants to. So if for whatever reason I do, the thing is I do need to like take care of my daughter. It's
annoying. I'm in the first sec. If I was in the second one, that's like a lot later, or like. 2 and then maybe you could actually wake up.
That's a normal morning for me, almost.
Yeah, exactly.
1 a.m. is a bit of an early rise, but hey, I mean, if I happen to like wake up, right, and I'm just like, okay, it's 1, sure, I might do a call.
May as well.
But probably I'll cast the games on stream or something,
Okay.
right? Or if whatever, if you're around and if you were in the mood or whatever, then we can do it together. If
Well,
not,
we'll see if I'm in the mood. Right?
yeah, we'll see. I can probably look at the games and be like, "Oh, Collins is gonna want to cast this one with me for sure."
Pepe.
Uh, no, not Pepe Hands.
I'm already like sad about it.
Already defeated, man.
Yeah.
Stop it, Collins. Come on. Stolen gold is good. You're gonna get it. You're gonna destroy people with it. It's all good.
All right. There is one thing in this image that I wanted to mention though. It is being hosted by Lorinda and Lee.
Yeah,
and I
that's
think
so cool.
I think that's great because it's hard to get Lobby Legends competitors in the cast because you have to set it up before the month ends essentially, and then they have to so they have to be they're Lobby Legends competitors, but then you're basically like saying, oh, I won't compete this month, to cast here, and then you also have to have a skill set for casting, which not all Lobby Legends players will have. Like streamers are usually good, but not all the competitors are streamers. A lot of them are surprisingly streamers, but just because you're a streamer doesn't mean you want to cast either.
Well, a lot of the time as well, it's people that were really good that turned into a streamer.
True,
like XQN was rank 1 long before he streamed, which is
right.
Yeah, like he was really just enjoying the game. Right? He was just doing it because back then there was also no Lobby Legends. Like the guy was actually just getting rank 1 just for the sake of getting rank 1. So we've seen that with other people as well. But yeah, no, to your point, it is true that it's a lot easier to cast if you're used to being on camera, if you're used to talking to the audience the whole time, and then it's probably also you're a bit more coachable already, right? Because I'm assuming you're going to get some guidelines for.
There were no guidelines. I
remember that first interview with Be Nice, where he talked about dongs, and they're like, we can't really say dongs, we have to call them amalgadons, which I thought was just a perfect ending to that first Lobby Legends. Yeah.
I mean, that one is like that's on them because amalgadon is essential. I mean, that's what everyone calls it. Back in
Absolutely.
I wonder if they removed it because there's like, they were like, you know what? I don't want more of this. Like, let's just remove the card. It's like,
they're just like every time they want to make a card name to be like, no, you could turn it into that name. We got to name it something else.
But yeah, I am pretty excited to see Lee cast and see how it goes. So it's it's usually fun. There's always more perspectives you get, so
yeah, for sure, man. There's so many cool things specifically in the quest meta that such a high level player as Lee can bring to the cast. Like, obviously, no offense to Lorinda, he's really good at casting and he works his ass off to be
okay. Yes, we get it. Lorinda, all the main casters are very, very good, right? Like I think that's another reason why it's hard to bring in like other players because their main cast is also really solid, right?
Yeah. No, they're so good, but they all make a really, really good effort to be not just like average at the game, but like solid, really, really solid.
There is kind of a hole though with Gia gone. I've now thought about it. There's kind of a hole where it's like,
you mean there is opportunity, or like there's this void that
there's this void. I'm not looking at it from like, oh, everyone else, hey, look, there's this place you can find. I'm looking at Gia filled this like great at everything. You can put her in everything and it works. But now there's that you're missing that a little bit. So maybe in your case, there's more opportunities for everyone else. But I
was just like replying to your point where you said it's really hard to kind of break in, right?
Yeah,
it's hard. Yeah, so let's say there's that void, there's that opportunity. But yeah, either way, just like circling back to there's certain things that are going to cross Lee's mind when he talks about it, which a lot of people in the audience be like, oh wow, I never think like of course you have to be careful not to become like too technical and too in depth, right? Because that goes to waste for most people, right? A lot of the time you just want to kind of cast as wide a net as you can when you're talking about things, be like, okay, this is applicable to almost everyone. So but there's so many viewers still that come to my stream or just in streams in general that see a quest reward and they don't even read what the requirement is and be, like for instance, this morning at a Gallywix game, and one of the rewards was, oh, get 2 Nagas every turn. And it would like 3 or 4 comments be like, that's the obvious pick, right? You get 2 cards as a Gallywix, you can sell them, make money, do all kinds of cool stuff. Be like, guys, I have no armor, 40 health. And this is like buy 7 or 8 mechs or some shit. So like, I'm gonna be dead before this even procs, right? Like, yeah, maybe if I get like shop after shop of Deflecto and Metal Tooth Leaper or whatever, we can do this. But like I'm Gallywix, so I ended up, I think, taking a Parasol or something, right? It's like, which was completed in 2 turns, and then hey, I get 8 health a turn. I'm a Gallywix, I get to stabilize and stuff, and that's the kind of stuff that Lee can definitely bring to the table, where he's like, okay, this requirement in this lobby might be a little bit too tough, so that's why he skipped it, or there's some really cool interaction here with this.
You do bring up a good point. I wonder what the UI is going to look like for Quest. Because
I think it's, yeah, go ahead.
You could really screw up there. You could like have no UI changes to show what the Quest people are looking at. Because I feel like because they did I'll tell you, they did a good job with the hero selection changes, right? So the first lobby legends, there were none of that. Then they added, you can see all the hero selections. The one thing that's like a drawback is it doesn't linger past the first turns. I think if it lingered for like the first 3 turns, then you could really discuss hero selection, right? And right now, I would say hero selection isn't like super like critical, but it's still like it will be in the future.
It's probably at its
lowest, one of the lowest.
Like the importance specifically of, I need this hero is not that important, but I think that it's probably really, for that reason, the coolest it's ever been. Because, well, maybe with buddies, buddies as well, specific lobbies, you just take X hero because of, buddy doing stupid things in that lobby. But right now, you can actually look at your selection and be like, wow, there's actually some back and forth here. There's some.
It's more than one option, is what you're saying.
Yeah, whereas before it'd be like, scabs, take scabs. Tests in this lobby, take tests. This, take that. Right. You would almost already know immediately, slam, 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 slam. Whereas now it's going to be like, do I want the 10 armor Rana, or do I take the Asera who has no armor, but then
you take the Arana, right? Is that
it depends a little bit. I think some people take the Asera, and I think even at the highest level, there is going to be some people that'll take the Harana and some people that take the Asera. And that is so cool, where obviously there is a right answer statistically as to what is correct.
Yeah, it also depends on what's in. Like, I would say,
no Murloc, for instance, would promote the Asera a little bit more. You can get away more with just like making a huge ball of stats and have that do something other than just getting poisoned. So
whether you roll a wealth smuggler, really, really important.
Yeah, if you could like just peek in the deck of cards, be like, is a smuggler in the top 10 cards? Because then I'll definitely stay here. I'll
That's very true.
So yeah, so exciting stuff coming up. Hero selection arguably being really interesting right now, even though it probably is at least critical which hero you get. Because
thanks for bringing us back, right? So yeah, that's a good reminder. So I wonder what the quest turn is going to look like.
Right, yeah. So I think we've already had one with quests, right? Or we've had
the qualifier, right? But they don't scream the qualifier.
Well, I could swear that I've seen something casted with quests. That was not the previous Lobby Legends? I feel like it was.
Oh, maybe because I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I think we skipped that one, right?
I wasn't there. I wasn't
around.
I
think the previous Lobby Legends had quests in it, because what happened was basically just, okay, I'm going to watch this person's quest selection, and then when they've picked, I'm going to move to another one, and maybe I'll catch a third. That's kind of what happened. you have like 3 people's choices if you're lucky on screen. So
I think what they could do is you know how they have the hero selections next to the players like that, and put the quests options there as well, right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
like
yeah.
the first 3 turns you'll have the hero selection, and the fourth turn or so, like the fourth turn, then you'll have the quest selection. Then you can kind of say, oh look, a lot of these players are deciding between this, and this, because like the images are static. It's not like you don't know what cookbook looks like. So you know what smoking gun looks like. So it shouldn't be too hard, and you already have uh, I guess the feature in place in that with the hero selection, you just have to adjust it a bit. Instead of 4 selections, you have
The tough part there is the quest requirement is such a huge deal there.
Yeah, I mean,
How
but
do
I
you do
think
that?
I think players will be fine just knowing, oh, they picked this or they're deciding between this, like, because you kind of understand the difficulties of the quest, right? So you could say, oh, this guy had Paracel and like, you know,
Yeah. So it must have been something savage
yeah,
for him.
prismatic lamp, and he picked the parasol over the lamp. I can't believe,
Yeah.
like, it's like, oh, obviously the lamp maybe would have taken too long. That's why you took so you could still make the inferences. I don't think you need to know exactly what the requirements are, for this. So I think it'd still be fine to do it that way.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, that's for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I just think it'd be sad to. For like what you're saying, right? With the assumption is they'll just show one and then they'll pick it and then they'll swap to
Gonna
another.
just, like, waste that
Yeah,
huge portion.
yeah.
Uh,
And
so there is I just wanna address it there. There's a comment in chat saying that previous Lobby Legends had no quests, and I've just gone back through the VOD and it was with quests, so for sure.
so you're wrong, but like that's what Shady's telling you.
Well, I wanted to really just double check, right, to make sure I wasn't spouting any nonsense, but no, there were definitely quests for
You're in chat. He's saying you are wrong. Get educated, my man.
it's all right for people to, like, point things out, right? Like, because
I
there's a
know, but
chance.
like at least like when you're saying that stuff, you should be like pretty. You should
Oh,
check yourself, right?
I do have a question, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but that is something I would love to see adjusted for this one. Just have more, because
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from a caster point of view, which is maybe weird, right? But like as a caster, you hit the turn 4, and there should be so much to talk about, right?
If you're in that spot, preferably by turn 6, you're still kind of talking
Yes,
about turn 4.
that once again, that's why I want the hero
Yeah,
selection
one
to linger, and then
Yeah.
the quest selection to linger. Like from like turn 1 to 3, it shows the hero selections, and then because what else are you talking about? Turn 1 to 3, there's like, oh, he bought a card, he leveled, and then he's rolling and bought 2 cards. Like,
Well,
oh, he went to 3. Like, what are you talking?
yeah.
I mean, there's
I do want to bring something here to the attention where for us, I think that is a given where we're like, yeah, okay, he's going to buy these 2 cards in the shop, whatever, right? We know that. We don't care. But I think that the, like, in-depth talking, like the meat of the discussion for us there is, okay, we're going to be talking about the quester. We're going to talk about, okay, they picked this. It's kind of like we would ideally cover all the 8 players, all their quests, and be like, oh, this is really cool. It's a cool decision here. Oh, this one is ambitious. Okay, we'll see how that works out. This is a really risky pick. But I don't know for the average viewer if that's really what they want when they're tuning into like an event. It's the caster's job a lot of the time to sort of just facilitate, to digest what's on the screen, be like, okay, this is what's happening, and kind of just explain some extra stuff there, but do not really say, okay, this is what's on the screen right now, but it's not important, it's not interesting. Let's just, talk about the cool decisions, the nitty gritty. Let's talk about the questions.
you're talking to the wrong person. That's what I want to talk about. Let's talk
Yeah,
about the
I understand, but like, that's not necessarily what
He bought 2
Everyone.
URLs. Oh my god, guys! And he played them, and I bet he's gonna trigger his
He
friendly
wants to
minion
win
buffs
fight.
now. Like, I mean, whatever. I'm done. Let's talk about why, the Gilwing decided to go with Prismatic Lamp. He's gonna die. Why is he going? What is he doing? Just take the smoking gun here. It's a lot safer. Beasts are in. It's a very weird choice. I wonder how it's gonna play out for this Gilwing. Let's see if it even triggers. That's the conversation I want to be having. Not this. Oh, he bought the URLs, and then we're done. Let's move on. Wait 50 seconds. The thing is though, the quest turn is so long, right? If you're a caster, like you can cover what this particular player is going to do.
Sure. I think the formula they have right now, though, is they will usually, or at least that's what happened last time. Maybe they've changed it up. I don't know. But the observer was looking at one player, probably the player that he thought, oh, this is cool. This is an interesting decision, which I'm assuming the observer just has 8 screens and then just picks one.
Yeah.
And that's a split decision he's going to make where, where are we going to start? And if they're unlucky, that player might
takes
take
forever. Yeah.
40, 50 seconds.
The thing is, it's not being unlucky. It's just the nature of the quest. You're thinking like, oh,
no. But what I'm saying is, you might have picked the person who picked his quest last, so you can't jump to other people after that, right? Like if you're lucky, you're like turning on the person that might slam dunk a stolen gold in 20 seconds, and then you can go to like your second.
So you have to if you want to game this, you have to understand what is likely to be picked. Let's look at the screens. Oh, this guy was gonna take this. Let's take it. But then you have the problem with that idea is that you miss out on the interesting decisions, right? You miss because you're like, oh, this is a slam dunk. Let's pick this because we know he's gonna slam it. Where you might not pick there's 2 or 3 really good options here, and you actually do have to think about it. And because of that, it's going to take the whole turn to figure out the option. But since it's going to take the whole turn, we don't want to watch that because we want to see multiple people. So there's that fight that you have to make, or that decision that you also have to make. So that's why we should just have it on everyone's quests on the side.
Have it on screen. Yeah, that would be ideal for. But maybe that is even a job for sort of like they have. I haven't really watched an LCS cast in a long time. But
I have. Don't worry. I can answer your question.
they still have the analyst desk, I'm assuming.
They do. So, they still have the analyst desk.
Right? But that is a little bit more what we are into, right? We'd be more the analyst desk.
Yeah, we would be the analyst desk. That would be
exactly. So
why isn't there an analyst desk for Lobby Legends?
That would be nice. That's what I'm saying, right? Like an analyst desk for Lobby Legends where we can go back and say like, all right, let's talk about why I was wrong to take pilfered lamps here. Right? So that's obviously not how we address it.
That is such a cool idea, by the way. But like, it does tie into budget. But that would be a fantastically fun thing to see after the games. Like instead of the.
Let's just make our pitch. By the way, let's just say like, let's just go like, okay, guys. I know that you have to have the casters lined up way before, but like, how about an analyst duo, right? Let's let Collins and I talk about the game afterwards.
I would love to be able to like pull up some things. Okay, so take a look at this screenshot here, right? You see this decision here. He skipped the Hogger triple and picked up the I don't know, the double Leroy.
Yeah,
I hate it.
No balls.
It's correct. But it's correct here. Skipping the Hogger triple for the double Leroy makes a lot of sense here because he's looking at the late game. There's Murlocs in. He knows he needs to find a way to deal with these big boards. And Hogger does take a while to scale. He doesn't really have anything to scale with the Hogger, no cookbook or anything, right? So a lesser man would go for these Hogger triples here. But this player, he knows what's right. I'm making up a fake scenario.
I was going to say, like, you don't skip a Hogger triple because it's free, so that's a bad example, right? But you mean like...
It's last turn, It's not even that way.
Oh, you mean like combining your Hoggers?
Like, no, like there's 3 Hoggers in here or something.
Oh, okay. So you don't have two hoggers on your board
No,
yet.
if you had two hoggers and you're scared, what are you doing?
But yeah, I mean,
Let's say you had one hogger, maybe
all
one
right.
hogger, then you're
And there's two more hoggers in the
there's two
shop.
more
I don't know,
hoggers. Yeah, it's hard, right? It's hard. There you go. That's why the
Well, I mean, but
conversation.
I think that's but it's a good example. To go to the example, I think you take it because you discover Manted Queen. Maybe
You
right?
discover Magic Queen, yeah, maybe.
But yeah. No, it's a good example where you could talk about shit like that. Where it's like, okay,
So
what
let's
really?
say you have. How much gold would you have for it to not make sense? Because if you had 6 gold, right, or 5 gold, you buy one, it costs 2, and then you play it, and you buy the other one. You're only spending 2, right? You're only spending 2 gold. But
You're spending,
but you're getting a gold back.
Yeah, you can sell the hogger and
Yeah.
you can sell the triple if it doesn't make sense.
So
Like
it's
that's
technically
that's
free.
a no-brainer, I think.
Yeah.
If you're looking for Magic
Hogger's
Queen,
a bad example. I agree.
Yeah.
Give me something else. Double Nomi.
Yeah, like
Nomi
there is like
triple.
2 more dark gazes in the shop. And we're like,
That's better.
so
I like
good,
that
right?
better. Yeah. What about Nomi? I like Nomi better because Nomi is very polarizing.
That's too easy to say that's wrong.
Come on. Wow, that's
4/4. If you're all inning, you're selling that sucker anyway, right?
Okay. What if it's like it's early enough where it's like not crazy?
If it's early enough, it's good, right?
Yeah,
That's the
but
thing.
but that's a problem, right? Then the Leroy doesn't make sense, right? You have to be in 2 different game states for both of them.
We don't have to like dig ourselves in on this hypothetical scenario. It's cool. It's cool to talk about it. And yes, there will be moments where I'll be like, you know what, it's close, right? Like, yeah.
To be fair, I had that situation with Nomi, where I'm like, I could golden my Nomi, or I could sell it and buy a Leroy.
Right. Yeah. Where you have to decide. Well, if you have the money, right, you golden the Nomi, jumps to your hand, and then you play the Leroy, right? That's the ideal. And then you don't have the Nomi on the board for that, right? And then you play the Nomi the turn after, and then you're like right back into buffing. So that'd be
I've not done that.
But you need the money, right?
Yeah,
they need to be in the shop, and you need the money and blah blah blah. So.
That's interesting. Yeah. I've had it where I had golden Nomi and there was another Nomi, and I had to decide: am I running 4?
That is usually too much, right? Unless it's Omega early and you're a Gallywix or whatever.
It's almost it's too long, too long, too much. Yeah, too much. Anyways, we have spent a lot of time on this, which
fun. This was great.
Did not think was gonna happen. We do have the list of players. Sleepy Penguin Sun say Shirosa. You could also say Shiro USA, which is
my instinct would be to say Shirusa. Yeah,
Shirusa. I know,
but Shiro USA. Let's go, baby.
If this player wins, I think we're rooting for Shiro USA.
Call him Shiro, right? Shiro.
But yeah, Shiro says.
Oh, not Caster is butchering my name.
Yeah,
what is
it? Dude, they'll be so mad if they heard me doing that. I can't believe this guy. Alutemo, and then Rogerhin, Eastleaf, Peter Babbitt, Repetiti. Is that how you say it? Rupee.
I think so, yeah.
XQN, Remgosa, Matsuri, HOF, Lighting, and Emo.
Skip one name, Collins. Sorry.
Did I? Oh, me? Oh, yeah. Educated C. Yeah, me. Yeah. For sure. I just assumed. Sorry, that's a good point. I'm playing. I'm
playing. Yeah.
Fair enough. And there's going to be 2 different lobbies. We're playing 3 games, and then top 4 from each will be put in their own lobby for the finals, and then it'll be 20-point check format. It should be the format for it.
2-day spread as per usual.
Any interesting names or anything you want to talk about besides me? Like we all know you're.
So in terms of just being impressed with the consistency, right? Say. It's just super super consistent, super strong. In terms of just names that I'm excited to see, I mean, obviously, you're excluded, right? Beater
I don't
XQN.
have to be excluded, Shady. I mean, if you
Yeah, I
will,
mean, but I think it also goes without
you can
saying, right?
ignore my exclusion and just be like, I'm still excited. I don't care what you think.
So yeah, Collins, Beater, XQN, and Sleepy. I think that's more like the boys, right? The
The
boys that call.
boys, yeah.
Let's
That's
root for the boys. Matsuri is not someone I'm familiar with the name, and I've seen the stream from time to time, and I
I
see
like
him on
him.
the Discord all the time. So I just know that he just plays a ton and is really, really consistent.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this guy doesn't sleep. That's how I feel. Like I just like he's just playing
it is.
nonstop and he's always playing. I'm just like, oh
He plays a lot of games,
yeah,
like a lot of games. I think we've seen Hoff a few times already as
yeah. We
well.
have
So
as well
mega consistent, finds his way through that
the Chinese
Chinese.
ladder. Yeah.
I don't know exactly, right? Like
I
how
feel like
they.
that's super brutal. Like this, the one we have is brutal, but I wonder how different or how hard the Chinese ladder is because
Yeah,
it's only four, and I assume
yeah,
there's more players, and it's not like top four or whatever the qualification. I would love to if someone knew to just like
that
what's
would
the
be a
format.
cool site, yeah, to see how the
Yeah,
Chinese candidates
I
are
want a
set up.
topic with that. Someone
Yeah,
someone send it in to us and we'll like just discuss it. I think that would be fun.
that would be cool. Yeah, any info on that?
What if it's like, oh, top four make it, that's it?
It's like
I
the
would
top
laugh
four
so
online,
hard.
which could make sense in that you see the same
Yeah,
names,
yeah.
right?
But we
Yeah,
don't really see the same names. That's the thing. It's
some names. Okay, so these players are very, very. So assuming that it's a similar process as we have, right? Like let's say it's top 16 or whatnot, and
yeah,
then they have their tournament, or it's a top 32 and they have their tournament. Then it's still really impressive to see that consistency
yeah.
of these players coming through. But it's true; it's not always the same names. That's correct.
But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be interesting. I don't know if like fun is a weird thing to say because like you could have a bad time. let's let's not. You can have a bad time in these if you're just like not feeling yourself and like not having a good mental state for it. So it's not always gonna be fun, but it should be interesting to see. What we can do, what the players can do. I'm not like super going in or so, but I do want to be proud of making it already, and like anything more is like just extra, on top of it. So and that's the mindset I'm taking it. I don't know if it's the right mindset, but it's the mindset I'm taking it.
I think that's a great mindset for after. I
Yeah,
think that it's
I
totally
agree.
fine
I
to go in
agree.
and be like, I'm taking some scalps. Let's go in, let's dominate. And then, if it doesn't pan out, you're like, hey, I made it in. Good enough.
Yeah, I'm with you. However, I'm not taking scalps.
You're not feeling it. You're not in the
I'm
scalp
not in
taking
scalp
mode
taking
yet.
mode. No.
You're not there yet, no.
Yeah, it's,
Oh.
very
It's
fair.
very yeah, it's very. Oh man, like I said, that first day, it's almost like good that it's a 3 game format. If you're not as
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm like, oh, okay, good for me.
good for me.
I don't. It's not too bad. I can maybe scam my way into the
On my way into
final.
day 2, baby. Let's go.
Perfect. That's how I feel though. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I really hope so, and I hope that just the games make sense where you're just in the game. You're like, okay, I know what to do here. I
Yeah,
understand.
that's been my issue. Just the games are not always clear, I guess, in
Yeah,
terms of like where
the
what
path.
direction I should take, and the games are not clear. Like they can end up poor, where I'm just like flat. It's like I'm swimming, and then like I'm in the deep end out of nowhere, and then I'm just like I forgot how to swim.
Where are the edges? I don't see
Where
it.
are the
It's
edges?
fine.
Yeah.
How did I end up in the ocean? What is this? Yeah.
Can I get Eliza Scalia? I grab an edge like, oh, I found Eliza Scalia. That kind of thing.
Yeah, I have not played a lot of Scally, which says a lot for me because that's my go-to cookie cutter build almost every meta. But I just haven't been really tripling into sixes a lot, so it's hard to do Eliza comp then.
Yeah, I'm like, whew, I still know how to play Eliza Scalia. Won some free games with her. I'm just like, oh, it still works.
Good old, right? Yeah,
Yeah,
good old Scally.
good old reliable. But yeah, it should be interesting. But that's about it we have for the Lobby Legends discussion. Now we just have more meta discussions, meta talks, that kind of thing. And the meta has shifted a bit, I would say, since last week. Because we did talk about this last week, right? But yeah. But Ysera was the clear number one, I think, last week, right? And now it's not.
Yeah, they did nerf the 0-5 a bit, right?
It it became a 0-4.
Yeah.
No. It was always a 0-4.
No, it wasn't always a 0-4, but it may have been a 0-4 since last patch.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
it was a 0-5 at the start, for sure.
Oh, okay. I see. You're right. Yeah. Is that a big nerf? I guess it is.
Well, I mean, it's going to shave off some percent here and there, but
yeah.
just maybe take a little bit more damage, and then that damage is what kills you instead of you stabilize and you scale.
They also nerfed the other dragon, the
Amber Guardian, yeah.
Yeah, the Amber Guardian as well. So.
Also made Stolen Gold more difficult, so you don't just automatically survive for Stolen Gold, Terragosa bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of like hidden Ysera nerfs, I guess. But even then, like Ysera's still pretty up there. Just the synergy, I think, with Wealth Smuggler and the 0-4 is like
the
crazy.
Twilight Guardian or so, or whatever it is. Nether Drake it is. Yeah. It's so I don't really play it because I don't like it too much, and I feel like I'm in a position where I'm able to refuse it. And it's just like, you know what, Chad, this might be correct, but I just feel like it's too passive, or you're kind of just sitting back hoping that no one's gonna have an answer.
Feels good, man. Give me more of those games. If I could get the Wealth Smuggler, I need those games, Shady, where I don't have to think. No. Like this, those are the games. Like, oh yeah, I do nothing and I win. Okay, okay. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, there's definitely some there. So we got so looking at the tier one. So for the listeners, what we are looking at right now is a HS Replay tier list, which shows you the pick rate and the average placement of the heroes. And for top 1%, which is currently 9,600 MMR or higher, the tier 1 heroes are Tavish, Brucon, Ysera, and Kurtrus Ashfallen, which is very odd. If you show this to people before the quest meta, they'll be like,
what's going on? Yeah, if I saw that is so true. Right? That is a good point. If I looked at this and I'm like, oh, this is our meta, I'm just like,
I have no idea what this is.
You could say this is buddy meta, right? Like that's what you'd say. This is buddy meta, and I guess quests are buddy meta, but it's different for it's for a different reason, right? Because like if you said this is buddy meta, and then I looked like more, I'd be like, this makes no sense. Right? Like you could kind of get away with the first line here, like, oh yeah, Tavish, I guess, Brucon, I guess, Ysera, I guess, da. And then you keep going. Yeah, Karana's up here too. Like, oh yeah, that makes sense.
You look at Scabs. That's the first one where it's like, what the fuck? No, why Scabs down here? That's no way. He's like bottom of tier 2.
Yeah, like what's going on with Scabs?
Like Zephyrus and Silas are tier 3. Gallywix is tier 4.
Yeah, like what's going on?
Like it's not gonna fly. Curator's not even picked enough. Mutinous is not picked enough. So
it gets weirder the longer you go down.
It is true in the sense that the game is played more like it was in the buddy meta.
Yeah, that's true.
The way of playing the game is much more. So for anyone being like, why are these heroes up here? I don't understand it. A little bit of a reminder that the quest difficulty scales with your tier, your armor tier. So if you have a very high armor tier, your quests are easy. So armor tier goes all the way up to tier 7, and you have your tier 1s. Your tier 1 heroes have 0 armor, and your tier 7 heroes, I believe they have a 7 to 10 roll. So they have
Yeah,
between
something.
7 to 10 armor. So the heroes that Brucon and Tavish, I'm not exactly what tier they're in. I think Tavish is a tier 6 and Brucon might be a tier 5 or tier 6 as well. So lots of armor.
Tavish is on the last tier.
On the very last one?
Yeah,
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, you can get 10 armor with Tavish. Brucon
Okay.
is a lot lower. Like, I think tier 5 or something like that.
Yeah, I see him get 8 quite a bit, so definitely not like too
Yeah,
low tier.
so that would be 5, right? Like
Yeah.
5 to 8 or something.
Yeah, something like that. So the that is a huge factor, because if you can complete your quest one turn, and in some cases maybe even 2 turns earlier, because your hero has an easier time completing the quest, that is on its own enough of a hero power to justify the pick. If, say, your hero gets Victim Spectre a turn early, that can be the difference between getting another pair and then turning that pair into a triple and then making a pair of the triple. So you've tripled into, say, an Atissa, and you can now copy that Atissa a turn ahead of the hero that has less armor and a harder time completing the quest. That is such a snowball reaction where you don't care if you.
Yeah, I found a bear off with like 7 or 6 Atissas. And I was
Yeah,
just,
every
it was
bet
too
you
early. I was like, come on, man. It was like, what the hell?
Yeah, I saw a Galacrond on, oh god, what was it? I want to get the turn right, but it's, so what turn would a Galacrond pull a 6 drop? That would be
5, 7
7,
gold,
6.
7 gold, so turn
Yeah,
5.
so turn 5. So at the very latest, it was turn 6, but I want to say turn 5. Turn 5, a Caligo's on his board, nothing else, and a Victim Spectre completed. So he's like, I'm getting myself another Cali, baby. That was so dirty. So it's like turn 6, the guy had 2 Caligos on the board. That was so cool. And that's one of the things where Galacrond can roll 9 armor. So Galacrond does have a very high armor tier, so that quest was easier. And that is, I think, the clearest example you can give of, if that had been a Scabs, that Victim Spectre was very, very likely not completed yet. Now Scabs wouldn't have had a Cali or whatever.
No, there's
but,
no way.
You know,
I've played a lot of Scabs. Which I shouldn't be doing, but yeah, the quests are so hard for sure for Scabs.
So that is a trade-off you make. And there are certain 0 armor heroes, like for instance Ysera or Flurk, that bring so much to the table that you don't care. And there's probably another one like Millhouse, for instance, is a good example. Who, Millhouse, sure, you might have to buy 7 more minions or 5 more minions or whatever, but you're Millhouse, so yeah, shit is just cheaper. You can buy it, no problem. What's another 0? Master Win.
Master Win is 0.
Hook Tusk as well is a good example.
Hook Tusk is 0, yeah.
Hook Tusk might have a higher requirement, but every time you hero power, you add another minion to your hand. That helps you with the play minion quest, summon minion quest, play of a different type quest, add cards to the hand quest. So there's so many things where Hook Tusk can cheese out your minion faster. That doesn't mean she's like top tier or anything, but that's a reason where you can say, oh, that is a 0 armor hero, but she will recover some of that additional quest difficulty by just having more things to play. But if your hero doesn't do that, if your hero doesn't have like a way to either just carry the game without the quest, which is Flurg, which is Ysera, or a really good way to catch up with your quest, then there's a lot of 0 armor heroes that you just do not want to take right now. Like, that just feel too risky. Like Lich King for me is a good example, where Lich King, I feel, does not do anything to make the quest easier other than summon and minions that die. Right? Those are the only 2 things where Lich King.
Thanks, Shady. I appreciate that.
Well, that's why I was so surprised that you had a Lich King.
I said I didn't want to say the hero, and here I am taking the
punishment. No. You didn't want to say the buddy, right?
Well, that's the same thing. It's the same thing.
All right, whatever. I guess Mutinous would be a good example as well. Where Mutinous, that's a 0 armor hero, but the hero power itself it does not carry the game. And the hero power does not carry your quest. Unless, once again, your quest is very specifically increase the minion stats. And then arguably that one trigger per turn might not even make the difference. So it's a good example of heroes that just don't really fulfill the requirement. Now, obviously, there might still be certain lobbies where, like Nagas and Quobor are in and Murlocs are out, and you're just playing Mutinous and you're eating Spellcraft. And yeah, maybe it's good enough. But the default is that you want your hero to either have 0 armor and be really good or carry your quest requirement, or you want your hero to have a lot of armor so your quest is easier.
Yep.
I
honestly, I don't have a lot of great information to add here, and I feel like the information I add is wrong. I will not be helping you today.
Talk about it. Okay. Right, anyways, so tier 1, we talked about why, right? They're here. So individually for the heroes, so what does that do in practice? Tavish and Brucon have lots of armor. Tavish in particular has a hero power that helps you save health early because you shoot.
Brucon as well. Right?
Yeah. I'm just kind of going by them one by one, the tier 1s. But yeah, Brucon, same thing. You don't lose fights early on a Brucon unless, somebody stays on tier 1 and they very specifically have a really good shopper, this or that. Your turn 1, turn 2, turn 3 are pretty much wins guaranteed as Brucon. Like getting the extra health or summoning tokens or even AoEing someone with a lot of alley cats, you just win. So Brucon and Tavish, they really stay healthy early and their quest is easy. Now, Tavish has that upside that if he is indeed in the last armor tier, the highest one, that you do just complete some difficult quests really easily. Like getting stolen gold. Like his best composition is frogs, is what it says here. Now, obviously, you got to take these steps with a grain of salt.
I wouldn't listen to this.
Yeah, but what that means is you give him a task for stolen gold, he's going to complete that task before dying because it's a lot easier. But anyways, that doesn't mean that Tavish is by definition the strongest hero in the meta right now. But the fact that the stats put him first, that tells you enough that you should probably play a little Tavish here and there, or just respect these higher armor heroes a lot. The upside there, right, is you stay healthy and you have that tempo, so you not only complete your quests earlier, you complete it with more health, so you have more leeway, right? You get a cooked book, you can actually use it. You get an anima bribe, you can actually use it. If you get it on this hero and you're down to 10 health, you do not have any leeway. You can't set up, you can't plan for the future. You have to play for your immediate survival. Brucon, in my opinion, is better than Tavish, and we might see that.
The placements are very similar, right? It's 0.01 place.
0.01. So essentially less, right? So, but yeah, the reason why I think Brucon is ridiculous, and that was, by the way, the hero I wasn't talking about last week. There's one pick that I don't even want to mention, but now the stats have pushed him up, right? So I played one Brucon game and I just messaged Collins on Discord, this is broken, play Brucon, this is broken. Because I did the summon option. I was like, this counts for, so Brucon, for anyone who hasn't played a Brucon in a while, which is very normal, very normal. One of your options is give 4 of your minions Death Rattle, summon at 1/1 token, which means that if you have a summon quest, 4 extra summons per turn. That means if you have a quest of have X amount of friendly minions die, 4 friendly minions extra per turn. Like that is insane. Like I have done a have 20 friendly minions die in 3 turns. Like that's just think about that. And mathematically, I was like, I could have 2-shot this. If I had insane combat, I could have actually 2-shot this thing. And that was stolen gold because have 20 friendly minions die. That's not that fast of a requirement. That's not that easy of a requirement. It can take a while and you need some tokens and stuff like that. Like I saw a Cthulhu take that one time. And I was when I fought him 6 turns later, it was not even close to being done. I was like, what are you doing, buddy? You're like, you can't take this quest. But yeah, you probably saw the quest and you just got blinded. Be like, I'll make it happen. It'll work. Trust. I'll find a menace. I was like, I didn't find a menace. So anyways, just the fact that if you get a good quest combined with a requirement of have, or a good quest reward combined with the have X amount of friendly minions die or summon X amount of minions, that just makes Brucon immediately so good. And then the upside for later is if it's a mech lobby, you can AoE people, so remove shields from Deflectos, remove shields from Manted Queens. You can taunt things on demand, which is super useful for, say, Avenge, or you can use it with an Arm of the Empire in the mid game, which I always really like doing. That's just free stats. The summon thing, even if you don't have a quest for it, you can use it to fuel a Pashmar. So many things you can do, but mainly Brucon to really abuse the summon mechanic. It's so good.
Yep.
Then yeah. I'm just gonna ramble a bit, and then whenever you have something, just interrupt me, right?
Sure.
The Ysera is the one where I really don't have much input because I don't really play Ysera which funny
I guess
enough
I
is
can talk about
part
you,
of
sir.
HSBG. Yeah, you fill in Ysera. Fill in my Ysera gap. Yeah.
So Ysera is pretty powerful in the right lobbies, and I'd say what Ysera's issue was before was that you really had the one game plan of you need the Terragosa and then you need the Promo Drake. And then you kind of rely on Terragosa Promo Drake to scale, and eventually you get Nadinas and stuff like that, and that kind of wins you the game. That kind of got pushed back because first they nerfed Terragosa to 4, right? And doing that really hurt a lot of the reliability of your Ysera because you had to go to 4 before you even started picking up the pieces. Before you could get the Terragosa on 3 and then the promo on 4. But then they moved Terragosa back to 3, so that in itself already helped Ysera. But then the other thing is they added another combo system, I guess, that you can now utilize. So Well Smuggler's always been in the game, but they added the 0-4 Dragon that now scales. So you get the 0-4 Dragon, get the Well Smuggler. And since you're Ysera, you're getting dragons anyway, so it's not like you're going to be stuck with just a single whelp or a single 0-4. You'll supplement that with dragons, and now you have something you can use to scale in the early game. So if you find a single well smuggler on 2, you're kind of already like you're good. Like the game plan, you're pretty safe. Like if you find a well smuggler on 2, you're kind of top 4. Like like unfortunately, like it's maybe too easy, I guess, but like it's actually that simple. As long as you like don't throw or do stuff, as long as you're doing anything safe, you're pretty much guaranteed some scaling, some tempo, and it's so hard to compete with the scaling early game. Just giving your whole board health per turn that stacks, and you can find, the thing is it's very easy to find 2 0-4s, so it's very likely you'll have like one well smuggler and then 2 0-4s. If you're lucky, you have 2 well smugglers, but let's say like normal game, you find a well smuggler, you find 2 0-4s. You're getting 2 health on all of your dragons per turn, as well as you're getting attack. So you're getting attack and health per turn, but you now have something to do on tier 2 with your Ysera, which you didn't have before, right? Before you had to be on tier 3 to have an engine, but that's not the only thing. Terragosa's on 3, but now you also have Terragosa Amber, so you have access to Divine Shield without the Nadina or like Selfless. Like it's a lot safer of an avenue to get Divine Shield on your Terragosas, right? So now you have this engine as well. If like let's say you go 3-on-3 and you skip the whole Whelpswalker stuff, you can now just find Terragosa Amber, and you're also pretty powerful. And then as well, on top of that, you can now also go to 4, get your promos, and play that way. So Ysera has a lot of avenues. It's not just the one game plan of force Terragosa, force promo. Now you can go Well Smuggler Nether, or you can go Terragosa Amber, you can go Terragosa promo. And then, like, with the synergies of, like, Stolen Gold and stuff, you can, Stolen Gold, Victim Spectre, that kind of stuff. There's a lot of synergies with Ysera from the quest, so it's not like quests are bad for Ysera. And then the late game, you still have the Nadina, Divine Shield, everything, win the game that way. So Ysera's not bad. The thing is, you do have to be cognizant of not rolling it down if you don't have any game plan. So you can definitely waste gold rolling it down on 2 and not hitting a Well Smuggler. So that's maybe the issue, and where people lose, where they roll it
Right.
down without hitting things. But
So would it be fair to say that when you're playing Yseri, you kind of have a checklist of if I
that's
see these cards, I'm buying them. If not, I'm
yeah,
leveling.
yeah,
All
like
right,
that's
cool.
probably fair.
So it's
But
like I
I think that happened. That was with old Ysera as well, right?
feel like a lot of the time with old Ysera, there was like two philosophies, right? One was I'll get a Chroma Wing pair and then just go to 4 with that and roll
Yeah.
into the promo. The other one was I'll just 3-on-3 and
But I
then
mean, your checklist was Terra Promo,
carry.
right?
Yeah, it was just like how am I getting there?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah, for sure.
yeah.
Whereas now it's yeah, go ahead, please.
No, there's a longer checklist, I guess, but it's still a checklist.
Yeah, there's but what I'm saying is that with old Ysera, you would not be staying on 2 under any condition.
Ah, I see what you're saying. Yeah,
Right? You would want to get at least the option to get Taragosa as
right.
fast as possible. Whereas now you might just hit Wealth Smuggler and Nether and then stay on tier 2, maybe even a turn longer,
Yeah,
or like some
yeah.
people the whole game and then just roll it down for. I think that's more a lower MMR strat but you could do that, right? You could play on God, I don't know, 5k, 4k, and never leave tier 2 as Ysera and
And
top 2 or
probably
maybe
top two. Yeah,
yeah, but
like
that's not
and
really.
maybe the difference between winning is like leveling for an Adina. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so it's like, yeah, I see what you're saying for sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, that's
But that's your
that's
Sarah, and
fine.
then this is the part where you say, "Yep."
Yep. Roll dragon. Yep.
Something
Dragons.
like
Yep.
yeah, something like that.
Then the last one in tier 1, according to HS Replay, so don't take this too
Is
rigidly.
there another one in tier 1? I have only 3.
So if I'm filtering
Oh, you're
top
doing
3,
current patch, right? Ah, okay. Yeah,
yeah.
I was doing top 7 days, or that's fair.
Okay, sure. No, I mean, it's so
Huh.
similar. That's what I said. Take this with a grain of salt, because I think that
Purchase is so much lower last 7 days. What happened? Oh no, he's not. He's not played enough. That's what it is.
not playing out of
Okay, yeah. He's
yeah.
not played enough. It's not that he's lower. He's just not played enough. Okay.
Yeah, so the deal with Kurt, you do need to have a little bit of a feel for how to play the hero, but if not, it's a great time to get used to him because you don't, before I would still pick Kurt here and there, and Collins would be like, I don't know, Shady, I don't know why you ever picked this hero.
Why are
It's
you
so
ever
weird.
picking this here? I'm with you.
Yeah, and I'd be like, there's some moments, and then it's make it work, and then you might win some games, and you have these games where your menaces are buffed, and you have like 6 menaces in total on your tier 4 comp, and it's so annoying, and they come out as 3/3s, and it's like you're really Deathwing, and you make it work. So I'd say any meta where Kurt is good, it's less punishing to learn him because he does have a certain rhythm to him, and you do need to learn when to break the rules of the game as well a little bit with like I'm supposed to be leveling here but I'm not going to do it, or I'm supposed to buy here but I'm not going to do it, etc. So essentially with Kurt, you're trying to just use your hero power whenever there's a shop where it makes sense. So your very first hero power isn't really something that is super crazy, but it might happen on 6 gold already, where let's assume that you were following a standard curve where you're leveling on turn 2,
Into yeah.
then you might have economy. And if there is economy in the shop as well, your 6 gold turn might be buy economy, sell the economy, which gives you then 2 gold back, sell the remaining economy that was still on your board, and then buy 2 good minions. Like for instance, you have a road boar and a Urel in the shop, and you sell the economy that you had left over from leveling, so your remainder Alicat, for instance, and you cycle the Elemental out of the shop. You then get, a 3/7 Urel and a 4/6 Roadbore on your board. And that makes sense. That's cool. But then you're going to have other boards where proccing your first hero power on 6 gold makes absolutely no sense because you wouldn't be left with any minions, or you'd have to sell like 2 of the minions you're buffing, and it's just not good. So a very normal pattern is to do your first step on 8 gold, where you've leveled to tier 3 on 7 gold. But then sometimes it's going to be so good to proc on 7 gold that you might not level to 3 for an extra turn. And then you're like procking it on turn 2 because, like once again, I'm like buffing 2 road boars or this or that, or my quest makes me want to buy these minions anyway. So let me just buy them and buff them and not take any damage. Because, what happens normally when your quest says like, oh, buy a bunch of dragons, let me just buy 2 red whelps by my tier 2. Oh, I'm going to get my ass kicked for that. But I've heard I'm buying 4/4s, right? I'm buying 4/4s. They're dealing 2/2, and then I'm buying a third minion because it's 7 gold. It's very easy. Just sell 2, buy 3, and then suddenly I'm winning and completing my quest. So it's just very fluid, very flexible. And like Kurt can choose to proc it on 6 gold or 7 gold or 8 gold, depending on the shop, depending on the minion types that are there, depending on what your quest requirement is. And then from there on out, it's just, okay, look at the shop. Is this something where I can do a quadra buy? Is this something where I can do a penta buy or this or that? Because usually penta buy, right? That's the last step, right? Last step requires you to buy 5 minions. So when you're playing Kurt, you're always going to be on the lookout. Can I bank an extra coin here or there to facilitate that last step? Because buying 5 minions does require quite a bit of gold. You will have to sell some cards, or you'll have to sell coins or this or that. And usually it'll be proc the second step still on tier 3, and then like a level to 4, and then proc the last step immediately the turn after. But it might also be, hey, my shop on tier 3 isn't great. Let me just level roll. It's kind of normal. Or level buy, I believe. So let's say you've procced it early on 6 gold. Then you might just level on 7 gold and then level again on 8 gold because the shop wasn't good. And then on 9 gold, you'll do the quadra buy, where it's sell 3, buy 4. Preferably in the same shop. You might buy 2 in one and then roll and buy another. That depends on your economy. And then the turn after, I would say usually you do want to proc that last step, which is going to be in tandem with procking your quest if you haven't done it already by then. But then in this process, you're healthy the whole time because you're buffing things. The whole time you're just getting stronger. So a lot of the time you'll have quest complete, 36 health, tier 4, and a board full of big things.
That's very specific.
Good, right? But no, that I know it's specific, but that is sort of the flow of your average Kurt game, where you're going to have roughly that health total if you've been able to proc your quest along the way. Now, obviously, some people that play Kurt that don't really know what to do, they might skip an opportunity to proc a good quest. They might buy some bad minions. They might level when there were good minions in the shop. They might buy when it's bad minions, right? They might, on 8 gold, they might buy 3 garbage cards because they're like, well, I guess I have to proc my step or this or that. So it's all about being able to evaluate what is in the shop and is it worth for me to proc my hero power here or not.
I'm so ready for you to get comments like, oh, I played Crutches and I procced and I had 36 health.
It's true, Shady. It was 36 health.
It was 36 health. All right.
Hey, I procced it on 34 health only. This is bullshit. What the fuck?
I got scammed.
My money back.
I'm ready for that.
Anyways, I'm not gonna I don't really want to go in depth for everything or so.
Yeah,
but there's some more like Flurg. I'm still just super like Flurg. Like this morning, I just saw a Flurg and I was like, oh, no mech, no beast. I just told my chat that's a first, and it was a first. So easy. Like my mind. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm wondering if it's a Flurg thing or if it's a Shady thing. You know what I mean? That's how I've been feeling. Like, it's Shady's in the lobby. It's a first. Like, that's how I've felt. In some meta stuff. Maybe you're at that stage.
Well, I will say that I think there is a very simple formula that you can follow as Flurg, but I think a lot of people when they pick Flurg and they don't do too well, and specifically that lobby, right? We know that no beast, no mech is poison heaven because what does everyone need to do in that lobby? They got to make stats. And what do? We poison those stats. So it's so stupid. It's such a good counter. But I think some people, when they play Flurg, they still go like super aggressive for the 5-drop, which means you give yourself a window to lose. Like you let's say you level to tier 4 on 8 gold and then sell, buy your triple. you have like 3 minions on the board, you triple. It's not a brand. It's like Kangor and some
You're
2 other
dead.
bullshit
Yeah,
cards.
I've
Yeah,
been
you're
there.
like, I'm taking so much damage and my quest isn't completing. Oh God, what am I doing? Whereas instead, what do you do with Flurk? You just sit on tier 2. You just buy Elementals, you buy Tads, you get Honchos, you get Swamp Strikers. You're completing your quest if it's spending money. You're completing your quest if if it's a quest that makes sense for Flurk. If it's like spend gold or play X amount of Murlocs, play X amount of this morning
Hey,
I had
X
battle.
amount of Murlocs. I know, like that's
So
like so.
insane if you get. I've had that. I've had like 6
Okay.
Murlocs for Flurg, which is ridiculous.
Okay.
But I think I had 6 battle cries this morning for Wisdom Ball. So I was just like, all right, well, I did not go out of my way to buy battle cries. I'm just like, I'm gonna
I
get rock.
bet you did it playing Flurk.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
crazy.
just gonna get them, right? But that's an example of when the quest is working with you. But I've had quests where it just wasn't that great, but just because of how good Flurg is, it wasn't too big of a deal. So the way to do it in my opinion is just to make honchos and swamp strikers, and then push for. I like to take 3 drops with my triples early if I'm not really done yet with either prepping my quest or getting honchos or this or that. So I will say that it is really a judgment thing because you can be on tier 2 for too long and then not really get your poison up fast enough, or you don't really have any chance of tripling into brand later or this or that. So it depends a bit on if you are close to proccing your quest. Does it make sense to be on tier 2 a bit longer? But I will have some games where my first triple is just a 3 drop because I'm not ready to leave tier 2. And then maybe my second triple will be a 4 drop because I'm like, yeah, if I get a Toxfin or a Primal Fin, that's fine. If I get a Reef Explorer, that's fine. And then maybe my third and my fourth triple only will be 5 drops, where I'm not being rushed for trying to get this brand. I'm making sure that I'm strong. And then if you just live on tier 4 as Flurk, you're going to end up with 5 high health poison Murlocs. That's good. That's just straight up good. And then you'll pick up Selfless along the way. And then you'll be in the spot where eventually you're going to have like cut it down to 4 Murlocs, Selfless, Blaster, Baron. Not in that order, of course. Blaster, Selfless, Baron. Because I can see people, hey, I put the Selfless first and I lost
Selfless
all my
Blaster
shit.
Baron got it shitty. Selfless Blaster Baron.
Yeah. Writing it down, putting it in that order. And it's such a good formula for the end game where if you can get 4 big poison Murlocs, Blaster in the front, then a Selfless, a Baron in the back, that means it's gonna go off. You're gonna get at minimum 3 poison Divine Shield minions, which all have very high health pools due to the honchos. It's very consistent, it's very clean, it's very good. But the real trick is, the difficult part is, when do you level and how do you complete your quest? I know that I really don't like rushing to 5, but this morning I was like, wow, this morning was such a weird game because I ended up with like a golden what was it?
Young Murkai.
A golden prophet of the boar early. Where I'm like, how does that happen on Flurk? Well, the way it happens is on my 6 gold chop, there was no Murlocs.
There
And
was 2 prophets.
there was 2 prophets, and I just bought the 2 prophets.
That's the only way it happens.
That's the only way it happens, right? So people are gonna be like, oh yeah, buy prophet of the boar. And Flurk was like, no, not really, but it just made sense. It made more sense than rolling. Which then I tripled for a 5 drop because I was so strong. Which that doesn't happen very often. I just said how I don't like doing that most of the time, but I was so strong because I bought my strongest units. And because I bought the strongest units and I didn't have to roll, I kept winning my fights. And because I won my fights, I had high health and I was able to go for the 5 drop, which then gave me a bristleback brute. So I was like, oh, well, we're going full Quillbore, are we not, Bobby? Right? So after going full Quillbore there, I was just strong and I wasn't losing fights. But then, Flurk finds a way. Eventually, the Murlocs show up, and now we're Murlocs. I was planning on gem transferring because obviously I had a crap ton of gems with a golden prophet. And I ended up selling like, I don't know, 15 or maybe even 20 worth of gems. Just eat them off the board because, it was time. I just hit enough Murlocs. I hit critical masses. But if I had a gem transfer, I would have had a nice boost as well. So these are one of all these things where you can do with Flurg, but
Just do that, just
the baseline is have Honchos, have Swamp Striker, and then just cycle cards. And the board kind of takes care of itself. Like every time you play a Murloc, your shit gets more attack and more health. And you want to be buying Murlocs anyway, and you get Murlocs for free with your hero power. And a lot of your quests are going to be progressing by buying Murlocs. And so it's very synergistic.
Sounds good.
It is good. Like, yeah. Flurg is my slam dunk. It's a windmill slam for me. I don't think if there is no mech, no beast, I don't think there is a single hero in the game which I will take over. Even Brucon I will ignore. If both mechs and beasts are in, then I'll still take Flurg because I think it's strong. But you just then realize you accept, like, okay, if I'm having a low roll game, I can just get bullied out by Deflectos. I can get bullied out by Rat Packs. That can happen. People can just, tempo me out. Because you are vulnerable to those tokens, you are vulnerable to the shields. But yeah, no mech, no beast, windmill slam, nothing comes even close, in my opinion.
That's an interesting thing that I wouldn't have said, so I like to hear it. All right. I don't know. We're not gonna go through every single.
No. We can talk about the quests maybe a little bit.
Okay, yeah, sure. That's fair.
We talked about, I think, some interesting heroes, and there's others, but we can always cover them next week. But those were really, I think, the most interesting ones.
Do you want to talk about quests or quest rewards?
I think we can touch on quests because there's maybe some things to be said, but then obviously the more interesting talk is going to be the rewards. So are there any quests that you just categorically do not take? No matter what. Sorry, I mean quests right now, where the requirements. Quests. Yeah, the quests themselves. Trigger death or increase stats. Or
die. The one. Sorry,
the one that tells you to go die. I agree. I categorically do not take the quest that tells me to go die. So.
Lose or tie unless it's 2, I think, most of the time.
Even 2, man. I've been like, fuck this, man. I don't want to lose fights. I really don't. But, except I have taken it one time early in the meta when I did a 4-on-4 on Togwaggle. I was like, okay, whatever. I'll lose some fights. And if I don't, I went 4-on-4 and I didn't lose. So whatever. But yeah.
So this has really sold me on the die. It just that's what I see when I see it now. It just says die.
Guess I'll just die. Yeah, lose or tie 5 combats. I guess I'll just die then.
Yeah, I've seen that, and I'm like, what's the logic there? How do you even do that?
Earlier today, I did fight someone who completed their 4th thing as I killed them. Right? I was like, oh, their quest completed. That's so nice for them.
Yeah. What else? Beside that one, I think is pretty obvious. What else do I avoid? The other ones are more specific, I think, where it has to be good. Which one is hard? Surprisingly hard for me sometimes. I guess to add cards in your hand unless you have a good hero or something like that. Yeah. That one sometimes is surprisingly difficult to complete.
So how do you feel about Sort It All Out Interactive Footprints?
I was thinking about that one. Sort It All Out. I played yesterday, and it was for Stolen Gold, and I tripled into a Goldred, and I still needed to, so I just had Goldred I 5th position, and I'm just looking at my board. I found a Baron too. So Baron, so it was Baron first, Goldred.
Go get him, Rivendare.
Yeah, right, I was like, what am I doing? But I mean, I was like, it was fine.
Yeah, what I'm hearing here is the big exception of, oh no, I had to lose and then I got stolen gold for my Baron and my Goldred. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was fine.
Yeah, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. You're gonna recover.
But it looks so. I was like, this looks so weird
for us mere mortals who aren't unlocking stolen gold, and much less so for their Goldred and their Baron on that turn. It's probably not good.
Yeah, sometimes I have those games. The problem for me isn't the I can't win. It's the I lose too often, I guess.
Right. I have that. Yeah, I think that I have the opposite problem where I don't really lose, but I have a lot of games where I think that happened in our co-op, right? Like we had these two games where it was like they're like fine, but you could have maybe won them, right? If you played
Yeah.
alone. Whereas maybe my autopilot takes me into a place where I'm not going to be losing, but I could have maybe won it if I pushed a bit more. And I think we've always had that dynamic a
That
little bit
dynamic, yeah, I think
where
that's
you help me push for the win, and I maybe pull
you
you
make
back.
sure I don't throw these
Yeah, I'm like,
freebies.
that's okay, Collins, but we're on 5 health here, man. I think we should buy the Magic Queen. Like, yeah,
Yeah,
obviously not that obvious. Yeah,
I'm with you. I'm with you.
so
And
my,
track the footprint. Oh,
right, yeah.
that one is very interesting because sometimes I'm like, I really should just roll the like 9 times in 2 turns and then proc it.
Yeah.
And sometimes like I feel like I'm not doing that, or I'm not like seeing, oh, this is a good avenue for me to just roll it down and proc it in 2 turns, and then go. Because
Yeah.
like friends along the way, there was one that I was like, oh, just friends along the way, just roll and then you get 2 golds back, and then you're good. And there was another one where it was like cooked book, I think, and I was just like, what if I just roll it down and then you play cookbook like 2 turns later, like you start playing that game, like.
I feel like you got to be really strong in that spot to be able to afford that, because man, that's a lot of damage that's coming in.
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, it is turn 4, right? So you're not like you have a
Right.
board.
So you're saying that if you would roll it down on turn 5, it'd be complete or close to.
Like it usually takes 2 turns, right? Because
Yeah.
it's over 9, right? So it's usually it's you. So you maybe maybe do something like you buy roll and then you roll the next turn.
Right.
Down.
So a little bit of like not 2 turns of committed rolling, but the majority of the 2 turns.
Majority rolling, yeah. And
I
then maybe play.
can't say that I've done that other than one occasion where
Yeah. I'm not saying you always roll it down for this
No,
thing. Like
for
I think
sure.
you can play this normally and just like roll whenever it makes sense.
So my issue with it is that I like to play as normal as I possibly can when I play Quest. And obviously, your
Okay.
buying behavior is going to be a little bit different sometimes, right? Like sometimes you have a battle cry quest, and then you just like force buy some weird battle cries.
I don't think I play as normal as I can. Maybe that's the issue. Like some of the quests make you deviate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe those are not the ones to be taking. If that makes
Well,
sense.
I think the loser tie is like the biggest example where you should never really be trying to lose in this game, because it's hard enough already. Like people will kill you, right? You do not want to be losing on purpose. That is, you just can't afford that in this game.
It's
Where you
funny,
start
right?
with,
You can't do win either, because then like it's just a high roll quest.
it's well, you can look at your board and be like, the chance that I will win the next two
No.
combats.
I'm saying like let's say there's a quest that says win or tie or something.
Yeah. So I'm saying that based on my board state, I would take that quest on some.
But I'm saying like it's a inherently a high roll quest.
Right.
Like
Yeah. It's but the thing what I'm saying is that it's not like you have to take it at the start of your game and then be like, well, do you think you're going to be winning on turn 4 or not? But if you've seen your shop and your
no,
board,
that's not
okay,
what I'm saying either.
okay,
I'm saying
I'm
like
not
that would not be a good game quest to add. Because the player that's already in a great
right.
position gets this
So
quest and
you
is already doing
right. You're saying it would just so yeah. So I was already looking at it from a player point of view, but you're looking at it from a balance. But yeah, from a balance point of view, it probably would not be great because you're just making the high roller, get it for
even
free.
higher. Yeah, exactly. Just a free reward. Yeah.
Like here, you're winning anyway. Here's get your stolen gold in 3 turns. So the one that the ones that I don't like that one obviously. Sort it all out. I don't like usually just because it takes too long.
It's
Where
funny, right? Like 4 turns, that's too long.
too long. Yeah, if some people get it in 2 turns, like it's too long. Well, it depends. It all once again depends on the reward and how strong you are. So let's say I have sorted all out, stolen gold, 4 turns, and I'm strong and I can kind of tank it. then okay-ish, but
You're
I'm not
gonna be
sure yet.
mad at me. I picked something and I triggered it and died. And you're just like, Collins,
That might
why?
be the thing, right? Yeah, I don't. It's not like I don't play around my quests, but I try to force my quests to play around how I usually
How
play.
you
So
already play? Yeah,
I
that
take a
makes a
ton
lot
of
of sense.
parasols, right? Because parasol is basically you didn't like the other two ones. Here's an easy
I
one,
don't get parasol a lot. Like,
right? So
no, I
that's
like it just doesn't get
you
offered
don't
to
get it
me.
offered,
Yeah,
right?
that's what
Right.
I mean.
Definitely not my one of choice. I would, we can jump to the rewards in just a second. The track the footprints one is the same thing where it just takes a bit too long if you were to do it naturally,
Yeah,
and otherwise you have to roll more than you would normally roll. Because
yeah.
normally if we play the game, we don't roll a lot.
I
We
don't take that one that often.
Yeah, it's cool. I don't love it. And then the other one is, I think, Unlikely Duo, where I see too many players take this, where they get baited
I take
by
that a
how
lot. I agree. I do. I take this a
well,
lot.
I mean, I take it when it makes sense, right? And it's really good. Especially, we haven't really touched on this, but on turn 3, a lot of the time you're going to be holding cards. You're fighting someone that went 3-on-3, or you're fighting a weak player, a warrior curve player, and you're going to lose anywhere. So you hold your cards a lot of the time. So then on turn 4, if it's like play 5 Murlocs or Beast, and you have an Alley Cat and a Rock Pool in your hand, you're like, ha ha ha! All right, I'm going to slam dunk this one. So you can cheese this one. But I think if you don't have a single buy on the very first turn and you're taking this duo, it's such a bait because it takes so long and it's going to really dictate your buying behavior. And you're going to get so weak in the process if you have to buy a shitty card over your good 3-drop. Like you can't buy Deflecto because you have to buy a sparring partner. Sparring partner is not a type.
That's happened before.
Yeah, so
Trophium.
that's the thing. Like, you want to play the game and have it make as much sense, and then quests are really just amplifying that. Whereas, once again, like sometimes, like I went all in on a buy 8. What was it? Elemental or Beast quest or whatever it was,
Yeah.
because you can get elementals or this or that. And
Yeah.
I got a Light Fang out of that, and it proc twice at my turn, and I just stayed on tier 2 or tier 3, and I pushed really hard to complete that quest. And then when I had the Light Fang, I started power leveling. But that's the exception, not the rule. The rule for me is play the way you would normally would, and the quest really just amplifies that. And the exception is, let me just buy this hyena because I need to buy beasts because the reward is so good.
Copium.
I'll
Stop
I'll
narrating my game, Shady.
Sorry, man. All right, let's go to the actual rewards. Let's talk about
Sure.
rewards. And so we know that there's some cool rewards where there's that buddy reward, but that one is not worth talking about because it's so rare. It's one where you get your golden buddy. So look that up.
I
It's
saw
like
it, Shady. I saw it recently.
Yeah. I've not seen it in any of my games.
Maybe you need to get better, Shady.
Maybe I need to play more games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or think
So
about that.
out of the more common ones, what are your go-to quests? Like, what are some quests you take a lot?
Secret Sunstone.
Common, real common. Yeah, sure.
Stolen gold, I guess.
Yeah, stolen gold.
The one that killed me was staff origination, Shady.
I have not taken a staff.
I've taken it once, or I've taken it a couple of times. It's been good a couple of times too, but it's also been
I
bad.
don't think I do get it offered very often, or maybe I just close my mind a little bit too much to the requirement because we talked about the difference in playstyle. Like my conservative playstyle is like, yeah, we're not even going to look at that staff here. But maybe
Victim
there's
Spectre, I guess I take a lot.
Victim Spectre, yeah, that's one I do like.
Wow, it's now that I'm looking at it, I don't take that many, that a lot. Like, what do I actually take a lot? Oh,
So
I
maybe
guess Mirror Shield is a lot because Murlocs are
yeah.
in some games. And then Cookbook, I guess sometimes. I guess I kind of like this.
From the ones you didn't mention, well, there's Parasol, but we talked about that earlier, right? So Parasol is more like
I
the
don't get
go-to.
offered this a lot.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'm blind or something. Smoking Gun, I take a decent amount. But
Smoking Gun, I've been taking a little less since they nerfed it,
right.
but certain boards it just makes sense, and certain heroes and stuff. So yeah.
Sometimes I have nothing to get, like I have to take Snicker snacks, and I hate it. I don't know.
I play Snicker Snack very often. I saw you that screenshot, right?
Yeah,
Like
I
Snicker
know,
Snack.
but I'm not a fan. I don't like it that much.
So the reason why I like it is it's so easy that you rarely have to go out of your way for Snicker Snack. So it just completes. And then what do you
Yes.
have on your board? Oh, I have a Coin Naga and a Swabby.
I don't. That's. Oh, you're lucky. I don't. That's
Well, I mean,
not what I have. When I
you know it's procking. I mean, you've like bought it on the way, right? That's what I mean, right? You or just a Coin Naga, right? Like just getting like one extra gold the first turn, and then it's like if you get to tier 4, like which is not that hard, and then you have a Jug on your board, that's pretty crazy already. That is a Light Fang, that is procking. And then if you have like an Elise and then you roll, you get Monkey, you get Brand, that's when the game just completely blows open. Or the 5-drop is a Battle Master instead. Then again, the Battle Master will park with Snicker Snack with Murlocs out. Super good.
I mean, I think Demon no Murloc is actually pretty decent.
Demon
and
no
then
Murloc
is also good.
Or Murloc, you just have a Toxin on your board. Like I talked about that as well, where
That's
you know you
annoying.
have
Yeah.
Toxin poison your whole. Like I was actually doing that when Hoppa raided me, and Ben was in the Hoppa raid, and he was just looking at my board, and I was playing Rat King, and I just smashed that game because I was playing Snicker Snack, and I just had this one Toxfin being like, "Yep, that's my engine. My one Toxfin is just procking
You're
poison
an
every
SI
turn."
basically.
Yeah, a Sephon that can't miss. That's what you're looking at. When you have Snicker Snack with a Toxfin on your board, that's a Sephon that can't get snipe chat. And if you have Bran, it's 2 procs per turn. So
I mean, basically, your board is poison. Like that's
your board is poison. So that means that if you have Snicker Snack and Murlocs are in, you can focus a lot on just doing stuff with honchos, kind of like how Flurg would work, because you know you're getting the poison because one Toxfin is 5 Toxfins essentially. So you can already work on having high health Murlocs and kind of trust that the poison will come. Now, of course, you can never ever roll a Toxfin, and that sucks. But you can build the game around assuming you'll never hit the card if you stay on tier 4 the whole time. The other one I would say is Evil Twin that I take all the time that I really, really like. So this one is a powerhouse in no Murloc lobbies. And it's the reason that I actually like taking Curator. So I just straight up win a lot of Evil Twin games where if you like
once again, is it really Curator or is it Shady? Like
really paint the picture, right? And I think it's similar to Flurg, where you're gonna have to make some decisions, of course, and you have to make them correctly. Otherwise, you're gonna die or you're not gonna be as cool. But the way how it works, I feel like anyone can do it, maybe just to a lesser degree. Where let's paint the perfect picture. So Murlocs are out, mechs are probably out, beasts are probably out, but
Sure.
that's not too relevant.
Sure.
What do we have is more important. We have pirates in, we have dragons in. Those two together are insane because what will happen? We go to tier 4, we use Peggy and Whelp Smuggler, which means now every card we buy with 1 Peggy and 1 Whelp Smuggler will give 1 damage and 2 health to our amalgam. Evil Twin will copy that amalgam. So what happens is you add a second Peggy, that is now 2 triggers. You will get +2 +4. You add a second Whelp Smuggler, that is now plus 2 +8, I believe, if I'm not doing the math wrong. So that's 8 health per card you buy. Now let's ×2 that again because you have Evil Twin. That's 16 health per card you're buying. Right? That is obscene. Well, let's dial it back a little bit because if you have 2 Peggies, they might hit each other. Right? But assuming that they're hitting the amalgam, which happens a lot of the time.
It's
that's
is it
so,
+8 or +6?
So let's see. You have 1 Peggy trigger, which will give 1/1. So you have 2 Peggy triggers. That's 2/2. You have 2 Whelp Smuggler triggers. So the double is 2 health. 2 health. That is 6.
Okay.
Yeah, you're correct. That is 6. But that's still 12 health. That's still
I'm just
the purpose of the
sorry.
Yeah, like basically what I'm but my math is off absolutely. But the picture that I'm trying to paint here is that you will get a 200 to 300 health amalgam very consistently. and then you just copy it. Now, why do I say max out? Because most people, when they see me pick curator, they say, oh, Murlocs and mechs are out. Why are you taking this? You can't poison divine shield your guy. It's useless. And I'm just like, guys, you don't want to module this. Trust me. Because what happens when you module it? They Leroy, your 300 health guy. You do not want that. You want to.
Another thing is that if they have it, then they can make poison.
Poison divine. Your thing is way weaker, right? So Murlocs out, I think, is a given, right? If you want to make a big thing, but I think a lot of people when they play this, they're gonna be so tempted. It's like, let me just put the module on this guy. Let me just put the module on. It's so good. Like, I do it sometimes because I'll be like, I get baited.
You go on this field and you're like, I still do it.
Well, the reason why I'm saying it is I think you have to be really good to break the rule. Because if you break the rule and you don't know how to fix what you've done, you're getting Leroy. They're going to sit there like, oh no, right? So you have to start buying taunts, and you have to start like what I had last time I did this. I had like a taunted Peggy and I had like a module on a Sensei. So I had a lot of lightning rods. I had a lot of things that could take the Leroys. But I still open up a chance. Like, let's say you're low enough health, you probably don't want to risk it. You probably don't want to say like, oh, do I just want to lose if they hit a 33%er here and connect with the Leroy into Amalgam? Or, like after it copies, it'll be like a 50%er. Do I want to, risk a 50%er here if I'm just going to straight up lose? So it all depends on your position in the game, how greedy you can be and how much you can work on it. But I would say standard is don't taunt it. Because you're going to be tempted, right? You're going to see how Master pass by. You're going to see Scavenger. You're going to start, the gears are going to start turning like, oh, there was so many stats. But like, it doesn't matter if you get Leroy. It doesn't matter if you get Manted Queen. So I'd say the safest one is don't module it. That's why it's easy for me if mechs are out. I'm not going to get tempted, because it's so good in the mid game.
I'm not saying mechs are necessarily need to be out because it's bad. It's because I don't want to be tempted.
I don't want to be tempted, man. I've done it and I've gotten away with it, and I'm just like, oh, I could just get away with it. I could just not have Leroy, and then I get Leroy sometimes, and I'm like, fuck! I had one job, man. I had one job. Just don't taunt your 200 health guy. So yeah, but that's the point, right? And you can do that with other heroes as well, right? You can do really cool shit with Vol'jin, where you make a big thing and then you transfer that to a cleave, and suddenly, hey, I'm spawning 2 cleaves. Or you can do that with like pretty much any hero in that particular lobby. You go Evil Twin, you have Peggy, Whelp Smuggler, Amalgam, because you can just buy an Amalgam. You don't have to be Curator. The reason why I like to be Curator is I can start working on my Amalgam from turn 1. I can play a Rock Pool on it and it's going to stick.
But there's no Murloc, so don't even
Sure, try. Whatever. I can play a Smogger on it and it's going to stick. Okay. I can play a Micro Mummy on it and it's going to stick. I can do whatever, right? I can buy a Whelp Smuggler on tier 2. I can play a Nether Drake. It's going to stick, right? So I just like Curator because there's nothing more depressing than having like the Peggy and stuff and you're rolling like, where is the Amalgam? Oh my God, I can't get started on my scaling. I had that earlier today where I was just so ready for an Amalgam and it never showed. And it was just, like I definitely needed to adjust my game plan a lot.
There are weaknesses is what we're hearing. At the very end, you're like, oh, there's still some issues maybe.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I don't think there's any, like foolproof plan.
Those are the ones you need to tell me, write those down, the
weaknesses.
No, the weakness. I would rather know of the foolproof plans than the weaknesses, but you know what? The weaknesses are fair too.
Like section Kryptonite, like do not avoid at all costs. Yeah, Anima Bribe I also play quite a bit. I don't know how you stand on that one. All right,
unless there's like inherent scaling or something with it, like maybe demons or
Overseer is the champ with this, of course. Yeah.
Overseer. Oh yeah. Overseer, like if you could like find a Nomi, that's like the dream, right? You're like, oh, I got scaling, but other than that, like it's it's okay. I make a big cleave, whatever. Like, it's fine. What's your thought?
The ones I mean, so when I play Anima Bribe, I would say that I don't play this quest that well, but I still do well with
Okay, sure.
And the reason why I think is that I think it's one of the most difficult, if not the most difficult quest to play, because the game just becomes so different because you just now have this ability to transfer stats to the shop. And then a lot of it is going to start thinking, is it worth to do that here or should I be rolling? I think that's always a question you have to ask yourself. Like, should I be rolling here or should I be transferring the stats? And something I'm still a bit experimenting with, so I don't want to say like, oh, that's the way to do it, is I feel like in some Anima Bribe games, you're supposed to push 5 because there's some cool stuff you can do there with demons are in. Oh, let me just like buy a battle master, right? Kind of mutinous-esque, right? Mutinous
The
likes
same
doing
thing
that.
with Nagas.
Yeah, you can do like the spellcraft stuff. You can get the Wrangler, but you can also just like buy a Light Fang and like buff 4 or 5 things and then just sell them later, and then it's not wasted. Whereas a lot of the time where you play Light Fang, you're buffing bodies that you're selling anyway, so it's not that cool.
Right.
But now you can actually just take that Light Fang, keep it on the board. You maybe even dance on the Light Fang for a turn to not make it awkward, right? And then get some really big value by selling later. So that's something I am still experimenting with, where I can't tell you if it's good yet, but I think so. Obviously, like staying on 4 is really safe with a bribe. Mechs in, I think, is super important. If mechs are in and you can dance on Deflecto, it's so free. We know that big Deflecto is extremely strong. So having a way to make big Deflecto and then just play a bunch of resets, that's super good. So the dream is I'm playing a board where I have Deflecto, Gem Splitter, Ground Shaker, and then the stats just are so free because you can gem. Let's say you have a core of 4 minions or so. You have like 2 shields, your Gem Splitter, and your Ground Shaker. That means that you have 3 flex slots, or let's even say just 2 flex slots to keep it easy.
Like have a reset.
Yeah, you have like a reset and then like 2 flex slots. So then you play your 2 flex slots, you use all your gems. Your 2 flex slots have now very high attack because of the Ground Shaker. You sell them back into the shop and you make this huge attack Divine Shield and you put that down. And then, you might have 1 flex slot from there on out, or then that Divine Shield might get transferred to a Magnetic, which then gets put on another Deflecto. And then, you can you can quite easily get like 80 Deflectos that way, which is very, very tough to deal with. So those kind of things are cool to do with it. So I do like Anima Bribe mechs, and that is, yeah. But the big takeaway for all of this for me is look at the requirement. If it's gonna kill you, don't do it. So yeah, you might have.
I mean, all right, this where I step in. Sometimes, you might want to risk it.
You gotta risk it. No, I definitely have games where I'm looking at it and I'm like, God, it'd be so good to take Anima Bribe here, but I gotta buy 7 Beast Mech and there's no Beast Mech in my shop. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna take the Parasol, or I might even take like Alter Ego.
Once again, yeah. Why play like that?
That's how I play, man. And then especially when Murlocs are in, I'm always like, well, can always stay on 4 and roll for Toxfin. Yep. So I'll just take a tempo quest that helps me roll for Toxfin.
Sag. All right. That sounds.
Yeah, that seems like a good place to wrap it up.
Yes, dude. How do you find a way to make these Omega long, Shady?
That's why I said, like,
how do you find a way? You always find a way, Shady.
I like talking about the game, and I'm really passionate about this because we went even a bit longer than we planned, right? But It's good that we. Sorry, I'll let you go and rest and prep. My bad.
What prep?
But
what rest? I'm just chilling, waiting for the time that I run out.
I'll let you chill for Lobby Legends. But anyways, these episodes for me are the most fun, where it's cool if we have a really structured one and we're just talking about patches and stuff. But these free flow ones where we're just talking about the game, just talking about what we're doing, what we're thinking. If that coincides with a meta where I'm really into it, then those are really fun for me to do.
Yeah. Well, I'm just like, all right, what is Shady telling me to do? All right, I'll do that.
That's such a weird one, right? Because like you're in Lobby Legends, I'm not. Right?
That's what I'm saying, right? Like I feel like, why is it Shady?
No. I mean, for you, it's weird. You're saying like, oh, Shady should be in. For me, it's weird as in I don't want to tell Collins how to play. He made it and I didn't. So what the hell do I know, right? So I definitely come at it from a very different angle.
That's funny.
Yeah. I think it'd be very arrogant to say like, why is Collins in when obviously I know this a lot better. Come on, man.
That's how I feel. You
Come on, man.
know. But it's fine.
No. And it's like you're just a good player, right? And your overall fundamentals still make a lot of sense. I just like if you can lean in the thing that comes online a little bit earlier, I think that's a big deal.
Don't kill yourself. Like that.
Basically,
That's what I've learned with this conversation.
Don't buy shitty ass cards that are gonna make you take a lot of damage and then die. Like that's if you could avoid buying shitty cards and if you could avoid taking a lot of damage, that's half the fight.
Genius. Beautiful.
How does he do it?
How
man?
does he do it, Chet?
Don't kill yourself, Peppa G. All right, you want to send us off?
Yeah, that's fair. Thank you guys for listening, for joining us here today. We had a little bit earlier because Shady needs to rest. We'll try to get this out. I don't know if it's going to be like legit today because I have the Lobby Legends, right? I don't know how I'm going to feel after that. But, it should be pretty good, if not today or tomorrow. And thanks for taking care of us. And we'll see you guys in the next one. You can find us blog. All right, that's done for me. I'm not streaming after this, so
we're gonna give Collins some rest, guys.
Yeah. So take care. I haven't been streaming this week because I've been trying to climb off stream. I've basically had like 8 hours stream games just off stream. Shady's like, "What the hell are you doing?"
What a waste, man.
What a waste. But like, no one bothers you. That's the thing. And also, you can make stupid plays, and you don't have like that visceral like everyone's judging.
Point that out.
Yeah, like there are some games where I'm just like, "Ooh, I'm glad." I'm glad.
I had one of those games online offline where I had like a golden toxfin. And I played a Murkai thinking that it was going to proc twice. And it was like, I lost because I only got one poison proc. I'm like, right, it's only one poison. No, I killed myself. Because like my selfless shielded the non-poison Murloc. And I'm like, oh, God, I died.
Yeah. I have some of those games a lot. So it's just like, share that with you guys. I'm sure some people don't care, but I have some dignity.
Okay, man. All right, I'm gonna go. I will be watching the VOD first thing in the morning. So I hope that I can cast some cool Collins games, man.
I hope I do okay. I hope it's not embarrassing. That's my criteria at the moment. But other than that, I'll see you guys later. Take care of yourselves, etc. You know how it goes.
Yeah, sorry, I was a little distracted. All right, have a good one, guys.